Hi guys, it's Haley Ferguson here. This is for Mod 4 for AEP 855, talking about KESA. So I'm actually out in Colorado, but I evaluated my school using KESA just to kind of see how we stacked up. So the first of the R's, relationships. So I believe that this is one of my school's strong points. We focus a lot on building relationships and strong rapport with students right off the bat. As I've previously said, I teach at a Title I school in an urban setting, so the relationship piece is huge for us. That is the most important thing right off the bat. So I take time to get to know my students before we even start anything content-wise. I want to know about them as people, who they are as students too. So I kind of call this the go slow to go fast later approach. We take time to get to know each other, so then as we progress, my students know that I care about them and have their best interest in mind. So today I actually did an assignment called What My Teacher Needs to Know About Me, and asked students about their learning preferences, their personal lives, work schedules, anything that I deem relevant or they deem relevant to their success in the class, their education as a whole. And sometimes I get some pretty heavy stuff, and I like when that happens because that means they trust me, they see me as someone who they can confide in, and then two, then I kind of have a little insight as to what's going on in their life. So if they're off someday, I have a better understanding of, okay, that's what's going on in Timmy's life or whatever. So after talking to my administrator, she agrees that this is one of our strong suits, that we're modeling this. We do Capturing Kids' Hearts by Flip Flippin', that's our school's program. We greet kids every single day at the door with a handshake, sometimes like a secret handshake we make up, and that's just another piece of building the rapport with students. We share good things every single day at the beginning of class, just to set the tone in a positive way, so I think we're really strong in that area. For relevance, I think we do a pretty decent job at this. My administrator agrees. With the population of students we have, it's important to tie things back to the real world. They want real. They don't want the fake stuff. Like, they've seen some stuff in their personal lives. Like, they know what's out there. So they want us to be real with them. Like, they don't want us blowing smoke. So I think that's extremely important too. And I think just to be a good teacher, good educator, it's important to show why this matters. That's the question we always get. Like, when am I ever going to use this? Well, if we tie it back to real life and the real world and make it relevant, then there you go. I teach economics, so that's pretty easy to tie back to the real world and make it relevant, so I'm excited about that. And my administrator said that we're pretty good at this. We're transitioning into being a model, I would argue, and she agrees with that too. So we're not like 100% yet, but we are pretty close. Responsive culture, I believe, is one of our best points. It's one of my personal favorites because I think that that's what we excel at. My administrator rated us as a model school for this, and so did I when I went through the first time. We work with the kids that society often overlooks, and they come from different backgrounds, bring different things to the table, but they're capable. And I think that every single staff member that we have at the school I'm at believes that and invests themselves into that, so I think that's awesome. We deal with a lot of different kinds of people, different things, but that's one of our strong suits, is our responsive culture to our students and their experiences, because those experiences are very real to them, and that's part of who they are. For academic rigor, I think we're scoring low. That's how I rated us. We have various reading levels and skills, and I'll get into that here in a minute, but we are really trying to amp that up. So I think that we are trying to implement that, and the reason I say trying is this goes along with question number 1. Is you're building a model institution or just beginning? So I talked about that. And then I think that we are implementing, because we get kids that come to us that are in 9th and 10th grade, and they're reading at a 5th grade reading level. So, or they don't speak English very well. We have a high percentage of ELL students, and it's hard. I'm not going to lie. Like, the cards are kind of stacked against us because we're a turnaround school right now. So from my understanding, that means we have 5 years to turn around our scores, improve our academic rigor, until we get taken over by the powers that be, and they kind of wipe us clean and bring in new people. And I say that the cards are stacked against us because some of my students that speak fluent Spanish and are geniuses in using language Spanish, can't take the SAT because there's no test for it in Spanish. So, I mean, that kind of hurts them a little bit. And then my kids that read at a 5th grade level in 10th grade, how can we expect them to take the SAT when they can't read at a grade level? And I have a few frustrations with this. I won't go into too much detail, but I'm really not trying to make excuses for them, but this is the harsh reality of what we deal with. So when we're making progress in our school, it may be that we brought that kid from a 5th grade reading level to an 8th grade reading level, but standardized tests don't consider that as improvement because it's not on that same scale. So it honestly makes me wonder what our students are doing in elementary, at home, in middle school to get them passed along, and then to this point where I have 10th graders in my class that cannot read past a 5th grade reading level. So sorry for my rant, but I think that that's important in understanding kind of where our school is at and what we're up against. So my principal's leadership style is based on the authentic leadership theory, much like mine. So our principal leads by example. He's very charismatic, and he holds people accountable. He's honest, holds us accountable, and he does that with the students too. And I think they respect him for that because they know that he's in their corner and he's not going to let them slip up. He knows what they're capable of, and they will reach that. And then last but not least, like I just talked about, our biggest challenge is academic rigor. The best way to improve this, to improve our reading skills, to improve our comprehension skills, is to just practice reading. You can't get better at it if you don't practice. So in my U.S. history class, that's pretty much all we do. We do a lot of reading, we analyze documents, and then students have questions to pick out the main idea, just comprehension questions that they will see on the SAT, so when they get there, they've had months of practice. Thank you for listening to my rant, but I'm just very passionate about what I do and the population I serve, so thank you.